The internet. Most of us use it every single day. We scroll, we search, we stream. It feels familiar, it feels safe. But what if I told you that what you see every day is just the surface? What you're about to see is called the Disturbing Web Iceberg. And like any iceberg, the deeper you go, the darker it gets. We're going to start at the top. The stuff you might have already heard of. The legends. The myths. The things that first made people realize the internet could genuinely terrify you. But here's the thing. Wellerman is not stopping at the top. We're going all the way down, through the layers that most people don't even know exist, through things that were never meant to be found, through corners of the internet that will make you want to close your laptop and never open it again. This is just Tier 1, and trust me, if Tier 1 already does this to you, you're not ready for what's below. Let's begin. Before we had Reddit horror threads, before we had viral creepypastas blowing up on TikTok, there was a single image, one face, and once you saw it, you couldn't unsee it. A pale white face, no eyelids, a wide carved smile that stretched further than any human smile should, and two words burned into the internet forever. Go to sleep, that's Jeff the Killer. And if you grew up on the internet in the early 2000s, this image probably haunted you at least once. Maybe it popped up on a forum, maybe someone sent it to you as a jump scare, maybe you stumbled onto it alone, at night, and your brain never fully let it go. But here's what most people don't actually know about Jeff the Killer. The story behind the image is almost as disturbing as the image itself. The original creepypasta tells the story of a teenager named Jeff who gets brutally attacked, doused in bleach, and set on fire. He survives, but when he looks in the mirror and sees what's left of his face, he doesn't scream, he doesn't cry, he smiles. He carves that smile permanently into his own face, burns off his eyelids so he can always see his own reflection. And that night, he kills his own family in their sleep. That's the story that spread across the internet like wildfire in 2008. And the image? No one knows exactly where it came from. There are theories. Some say it was originally a photo of a real person, heavily edited. Others say it was created specifically to disturb. The original source was never confirmed. The person behind it never found. And that mystery? That's exactly what made Jeff the Killer dangerous. Not the story, not the image alone, but the fact that no one knew. No one could tell you for certain. This is fake. Relax. Jeff the Killer didn't just scare people, it launched an entire culture. Creepypasta as a genre exploded because of stories like this. And for a generation of internet users, Jeff was the first time the internet made them feel genuinely, deeply afraid. And here's the thing that should sit with you. Somewhere on the internet right now, that original image still exists, unchanged, waiting. Go to sleep. Now. Jeff the Killer scared you with a face. What comes next scares you with the absence of one. You've heard the name. Maybe you've seen the games. Maybe you remember the 2014 headlines that made the entire world stop and ask, can internet horror actually make people dangerous? But let's go back to where it all started, because Slender Man didn't come from ancient folklore. He didn't come from a lost manuscript or a whispered legend. He was created, deliberately, in a Photoshop contest on the Something Awful forums in 2009. A user named Eric Knudsen, known online as Victor Surge, submitted two black and white photographs. Old, grainy, the kind that feel like they were pulled from a box in someone's attic. In the background of both photos, tall, impossibly tall, thin like a body stretched beyond what biology allows. No face, a dark suit, and arms. Long, branching arms that didn't look like arms at all. The caption read, "We didn't want to go. We didn't want to kill them." But its persistent silence and outstretched arms horrified and comforted us at the same time. And just like that, the Slender Man was born. Within weeks, people across the internet were treating him like real folklore, writing stories, editing him into old photographs, building an entire mythology around something that had existed for less than a month. The line between fiction and belief started to blur, and it blurred fast. Then came the games. Slender, the 8 pages. You're alone in a dark forest. You have a flashlight, and somewhere out there, he's watching. That game did something to people. The sound design, The tension, the way you never actually see him attack you, just the static, and then darkness. It was pure psychological horror executed perfectly. But then, 2014, and this is where Slender Man stops being a fun internet ghost story. Two 12-year-old girls in Wisconsin lured their friend into the woods and stabbed her 19 times. They told police they did it for Slender Man, to prove themselves worthy, to become his proxies. The victim survived, barely. And suddenly, the whole world was asking, what is this thing? How does a Photoshop creation from a forum drive two children to attempt murder? The answer is complicated, and honestly, a little terrifying, because Slender Man didn't force anyone to do anything. He was a story, but stories, when they spread deep enough, when they blend into reality for the wrong minds, they stop being just stories. Slender Man is still out there, on forums, in games, in memes, in the cultural memory of everyone who grew up internet native. And somewhere in those Wisconsin woods, the trees are still standing where it happened. You should subscribe right now, by the way, because where we're going next on this iceberg, you're going to want to be here for all of it. Hit that button, and let's keep going. Okay, we need to talk about this one carefully, because the dark web is probably the most misunderstood topic on this entire iceberg, and also one of the most genuinely disturbing ones, when you understand what it actually is. Most people have heard of it. Most people picture a black screen, a skull, a hacker in a hoodie. Hollywood sold you that image, and like most things Hollywood sells you, it's only half true. So let's actually break it down. The internet you use every day, Google, YouTube, this video right here, that's the surface web. Then there's the deep web, which sounds scary, but is actually just things like your email inbox, your bank account, private databases, not indexed by search engines, not accessible without a login, totally normal. And then there's the dark web, a network that exists intentionally hidden. You can't stumble onto it accidentally. You need specific software, most commonly something called the Tor browser, which bounces your connection through multiple servers across the world, making it nearly impossible to trace who you are or where you are. Now here's where it splits, because the dark web is not inherently evil. It was actually developed by the US Navy. It's used by journalists in authoritarian countries to communicate safely, by whistleblowers, by political dissidents, by people who genuinely need anonymity to survive. But that same anonymity, that same untraceability, attracted something else entirely: black markets. The most infamous was called Silk Road, a marketplace where you could buy literally anything: drugs, weapons, stolen data, fake identities, using cryptocurrency, untraceable, delivered to your door. Silk Road was eventually shut down, and its founder Ross Ulbricht was arrested and sentenced to life in prison. But shutting down Silk Road didn't shut down the dark web. Dozens of replacements appeared almost immediately, and that's just the marketplace side, the parts that don't get talked about on mainstream videos. The forums, the communities, the content that exists down there, that's where it gets into territory that's genuinely hard to process. People have found things on the dark web that they spent years trying to forget. Images, videos, communications, things that never should have been created and absolutely never should have been seen. Law enforcement agencies around the world run entire divisions dedicated to nothing but monitoring and taking down dark web operations. Here's the thing that most people don't realize: the dark web doesn't feel like what you imagine. There's no dramatic interface, no skull and crossbones. It looks, in a lot of ways, like a very old version of the regular internet. Message boards, simple websites, which somehow makes it more unsettling, because the horror isn't in how it looks, it's in what you can find there if you go looking. And the most disturbing part: for every operation law enforcement shuts down, there are 10 more they haven't found yet. The dark web is real. It's active right now as you're watching this, and it is one of the clearest reminders that the internet, the thing you use to watch funny videos and order food, has a side to it that most people will never see, and we're grateful for that. So that was tier 1 of the Disturbing Web Iceberg: Jeff the Killer, Slender Man, the dark web. These are the names most people know. The surface level, the part of the iceberg you can still see in the light, but we've barely scratched the surface. In the next video, we go under Cicada 3301, Sad Satan, the Wyoming incident, things that make everything we covered today look like a bedtime story. If this video got to you, even a little, then you already know you need to see what comes next. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next tier, because I promise you, it gets significantly darker from here. Wellerman out. Sleep well.